Apocalypse. For thousands of years, this word didn't mean the end of the world. It meant revelation, or the end of the present age as we know it. It wasn't until a few hundred years ago that fearmongers chose to use the word as a symbol of death and destruction. Throughout history, there have been many end-of-the-world predictions. In 992, Christians predicted the Antichrist would rise and that there would be hell on earth. In 1033, they thought the world would end due to the 1,000-year anniversary since Jesus' death. In 1346, a mysterious illness began to kill a large portion of the population. Many believed the disease would eradicate humanity. That disease was the Black Plague. In 1524, it was predicted that the Great Flood would consume the entire Earth. In fear of the flood, 20,000 people left their homes and headed towards higher ground. There was Y2K, which was predicted to cause the failure of modern technology. Then there was that whole Mayan calendar thing in 2012 that was given traction by millennials wanting to have end-of-the-world parties. And there's the way that the world will actually end, maybe in your lifetime. The thing that we should all be worrying about, that no one is paying attention to, is kittens. And I'm kidding. Kind of. All the end-of-the-world scenarios mentioned so far were based on some kind of illogical belief, but there are a lot of very real and possible ways that the world could end in your lifetime. Researchers at the University of Oxford say that there's a 19% chance that the world will end in your lifetime, and that the average American is 5 times more likely to die from an end-of-the-world scenario than a car crash. The researchers also say that you are most likely to die from a nanotechnology mishap by the year 2100, and put the odds of that happening at 5%. Now, what do they mean by a nanotechnology mishap? Well, advances in nanotechnology could lead to easy mass production of harmful products, or, my favorite, a scenario called gray goo. Gray goo is when self-replicating robots become out of control and start consuming all of the matter on Earth in order to keep replicating and making more of themselves. This would certainly lead to the destruction of the human race, life on Earth, and maybe the Earth itself. Nanotechnology advancements might also lead to advancements in artificial intelligence. Now, when most of you think of artificial intelligence, or AI, you probably think of this.
In the cloud, no one knows whether you're human or not.
And when AI gets out of control, you probably think of this.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me, and I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
What if robots became smart enough to think for themselves and decided to wage war against humans for some reason? Could we stop them? Does anyone have John Connor's phone number? Now, this very same nanotechnology could also be used to create a biological weapon that would destroy the entire human race. Most people have seen this end-of-the-world scenario from the movie 12 Monkeys, where Bruce Willis saves the world. I mean, it inadvertently causes the eradication of the human race, but same thing. New up-and-coming fancy biological weapons could kill every person on this planet, but there's an old-fashioned way to do that. Blowing shit up. There are 16,300 nuclear weapons on this planet, with each capable of destroying tens of thousands of square kilometers of the Earth. If all of these nukes went off from a global war, they could destroy every single centimeter of the 510 million square kilometers of Earth. But the Earth could be destroyed by another, more sudden way, without warning. On June 30th, 1908, 2,000 square kilometers of Russian forest was flattened by an object that produced 1,000 times more energy than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. This football field-sized object was a meteor from outer space that devastated all life near the Stony Tunguska River in Russia. People may think that asteroid impacts like this don't happen too often, but they do happen a lot. Well, do you remember the Chelyabinsk meteor of 2013 that injured 1,500 people? What about the meteor that hit the Atlantic Ocean a few months ago with more energy than the most powerful atomic bomb ever detonated? And the scary thing about asteroids and meteors is that they have detected about 4,700 of them that may hit Earth in the near future. But there are probably 10,000 or more asteroids that we haven't detected yet and could do a sneak attack on the Earth. If one of these asteroids was 10 kilometers long, like the one that made the dinosaurs go extinct, or even one much smaller than that, we could see global devastation. But what if something much larger hit the Earth? Most people don't know that Mercury's orbit is relatively unstable compared to all the other planets. There is a very small chance that in our lifetime, its orbit could become so unstable that it would be headed on a collision course with either Venus, the Sun, or the Earth. If an 11-kilometer long asteroid was large enough to cause the extinction of the dinosaurs, imagine what a 4,879-kilometer long planet could do. You know, there's a theory that billions of years ago Mars had life and water on its surface, but then a 4,000-kilometer long dwarf planet smashed into its surface, stripping away all life on the planet. So a collision of Mercury and the Earth wouldn't just devastate life on our planet, it would truly be the end of life on Earth. Large masses in the solar system are not the only cosmic threats that could destroy the planet. There are high-energy events like hypernovas or gamma-ray bursts that could hit us without warning. And depending on how close these high-energy events are to the Earth, it could either seriously mess up your iPhone and computer, or it could completely destroy our atmosphere and make us all suffocate and burn to death. Hip hip hooray. See that right there? You know, that giant creepy black deathclaw amongst the stars? That's called a dark nebula. It looks empty, right? But the truth of the matter is that these dark places in the universe have some of the highest concentrations of cosmic dust in the universe. It is so dense in these dark nebulas that it blocks the passage of visible light. If the Earth were to travel through one of these invisible dust fields, the Earth might be able to survive, but life on Earth would not. But an even darker cosmic threat that could end the world is black holes. You know, those things that are so dense that light can't escape? Well, as it turns out, there are millions of these things in the Milky Way galaxy alone. If these things were to get relatively close to the Earth, it would at very least permanently screw up our solar system by changing the trajectory of our planets. But if we did get close enough, the Earth, along with the rest of the planets, would be spaghettified and turned into nothingness as we go beyond the event horizon of the black hole. Luckily, the closest one is about 3,000 light years away, and it is highly improbable, but still possible, that a rogue black hole would hit us anytime soon. Now, this last one I'm going to talk about is a few problems wrapped into one giant end-of-the-world scenario, so stick with me here. Have you ever noticed what humans do? We consume resources, make more humans, and then spread to consume more resources and make more humans. We need a host planet to survive, and without the host, we wouldn't be alive. This is a similar pattern to a virus. We spread and consume until there is nothing left. We have turned 40% of the land on Earth into farms. We've cut down 90% of the forests in some areas on the planet. We've increased carbon emissions by 1,000% in the past 2 centuries, and we've turned the Earth into an easy-bake oven that is currently preheating itself. Now, it is true that even if climate change gets worse, humans still won't likely be extinct in the next 100 years. But what we will see is a drastically different civilization and planet. There will be even more parts of the world that will be uninhabitable. We won't be able to feed everyone or give everyone fresh water, and our population will be forced to die off. The worst case scenario is we see the runaway greenhouse effect, which would lead to the boiling of our oceans. It would literally end the world by turning the Earth into Venus. Now, there are so many other end-of-the-world scenarios that I didn't include in this. Leave a comment for what is your favorite one, or which one you would want to happen if the world had to end, I guess. That's a weird question. And make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you liked this video. Hit the awesome button if you want to, and make sure to check out my other science videos if you really, really, really want to. And remember that you are all very beautiful people, and I will see you next time.